Welcome to Gothic Homemaking. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a batmobile. Sorry, not the kind Batman rides around in, though that would be awesome. I mean one of those hanging kinetic sculptures, but this one is going to be made out of bats cut out from vinyl albums. Now, as a musician, I would never want to destroy a perfectly good album, but as it happens, I was able to buy some damaged ones from a record store in my neighborhood for just $1 each. And I think I may have found the perfect choice for our project. Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf, an absolute classic album from my childhood. It probably comes as no surprise that this album inspired the cover for my own album, Raised by Bats. I would never destroy a copy of Bat Out of Hell that wasn't already unplayable, but I think we can give this old bat a glorious new life in our new project. Let's take a look at what else we're going to need. Around Halloween, you may end up with a bunch of these bat-shaped cookie cutters, and I'm going to show you a great secondary use for them. This stainless steel one that I got from the GeoEvo store on Etsy is perfect for our purposes. These I found at Michael's, and while they have a great shape, the enamel is going to have to be burned off first, which is a smoky, smelly, and probably toxic procedure. It's a process best done in a fire pit outdoors if you have one. If you absolutely have to do it indoors, make sure you have proper ventilation, a gas mask, and a bucket of water just in case. And needless to say, if you're not an adult, please make sure you have a responsible adult with you when using fire for, well, really, for anything. Once you've burned all of the paint off, it's going to look something like this. The more bat shapes you have, the better. Here's another one that I burned the paint off of. But this is going to be our hero bat. This gorgeous copper bat-shaped cookie cutter was purchased from CopperHead Crafts on Etsy. Our first step is to put down a marble cutting board. This is a wonderful tombstone-shaped one that I got from Flying Tiger Copenhagen. You'll also want to have a vessel filled with water nearby. And now the fun part. With some pliers, we hold our bat-shaped cookie cutter over an open flame until it becomes red hot. Once it's good and hot, we place the flaming hot bat onto a vinyl album, applying pressure with the needle nose pliers so that it cuts through the melting vinyl. Next, I peel the album up over the bat and place it aside. And then I dunk the whole thing into some cold water. Now again, this can be a very smoky and smelly affair, so if you're doing it indoors, be sure to open up all of the windows and wear a gas mask if you have one. I continued to repeat the same technique with our different bat shapes and ultimately chose a more reasonable vessel for the water dunking part. When it came time to do our large bat, I hit a snag when the solder melted and the bat came apart. As I often do, I took my dilemma to my colleague Kaori, who runs the model shop at the School of Visual Arts. She suggested I rivet the pieces back together and showed me how to do it. I have gone to her a dozen times and she's saved a dozen of my projects. I honestly don't know what I would do without her expertise. And so, armed with a borrowed rivet gun and some good advice, I put our bat back together again. Then it was time for the moment of truth. My next problem was that my range isn't big enough to heat the whole bat up at the same time. This would probably work best out on a barbecue grill. Nonetheless, the time had come to melt a hellish bat out of a bat out of hell. It hit me that this might also be the way Batman makes batarangs. When the vinyl bats are popped out of the cookie cutters, the edges are a bit sloppy from the melting, so I took my Dremel tool and I sanded the edges to make them more smooth and defined. I should point out that this is a very messy job as it sends vinyl dust everywhere, so it's best to do in a workshop or outside. In time, I had a small colony of vinyl bats. Next, I grabbed my drill and a block of wood, and I drilled holes at the tops of the bats' heads as well as on some of the wing tips. Then I got a spool of clear nylon thread and I threaded it through the holes and I attached the bats to each other. Now they can really take flight. For the ring I would hang them from, I chose this delightfully spooky twig wreath from Joann Fabrics and Craft Store. I picked up some S-hooks and a regular keychain ring to use as hardware, and I painted them black. I put those aside for the moment and grabbed a spool of black waxed cord. This is the same cord that I use on my key pendants. I tied a piece around the wreath, then I did the same at 2 other spots and attached the strands to the key ring in the center. And now I have a way to hang my spooky wreath. Next, I simply attached one of the S-hooks to a knot at the end of my nylon thread, and it was fly, my pretties! Attach your bats to the ring in the center and you've got yourself a batmobile, perfect to hang over the crib of your darling little baby bat. Now you could end the project there, but I thought the batmobile was a little sparse. Though truth be told, I tend to take every project a little too far. So I released more bats! I picked up some of those hooks they sell to attach decorative balls to Christmas trees, and I painted them black. And I attached all my extra bats to the wreath. Now that's a colony of bats. This Batmobile won't help you catch the Joker, I'm afraid, but I think it'll look great in your spooky lair. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe so that you'll never miss another Gothic homemaking video. Full episodes of Gothic Homemaking can be seen right here on The Lair of Voltaire.